So here we are at Spa Franchorchamps on Forza Motorsport 7 with the McLaren Senna. I'm Luke and I'm joined by Jake. How you doing?
Really good. I'm very excited about this because we've got an incredible car for these guys to go racing in. The 4-litre twin-turbocharged V8 with a whisker under 800 brake horsepower of power. And obviously it's on the cathedral of speed that is Spa Francorchamps. Those corners, Eau Rouge into Raidillon, Stavelot into Blanchiment. It's the most legendary circuit with one of the most legendary modern hypercars.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot agree more there with you, Jake. Looks like we have got the grid formation here then, and it looks like on pole position will be Kevin, Siggy, Rebenak. The top three, though, separated by half a second. It's going to be really, really close today, isn't it?
Absolutely, and you've got to look into the fact as well that although Erhan Yujovski and Isaac Gillison are right in there, the game specialist, Igor, is actually really struggling at the moment. Although he loves his Forza 7 and this is his game, the problem is he's actually really struggling to transition from gamepad to wheel and pedals, so it's not actually a clear cut as to who's going to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very close one. Again, I would say Igor was the favourite here to get a big result, but the transition from the pad to the wheel and pedals has been a struggle for him. But it looks like we're ready to grid up here and we're ready to race. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Event 2, Race 1 of the McLaren Shadow 2019, and we are off here at Spa, and we are on board now with Jan down in 6th position. Looks like there's a lot of battling happening down in towards turn number 1, almost 3 wide as we go through turn 1, and now they're going to head up to Raidillon and the Camel Straight, and it looks like Erhan's in P3, but the leader here is Kevin Siggy Rebenak.
Really good start from Isaac Gillison. He managed to get himself onto the outside line through La Source and managed to get on the outside curb as well to build himself on the outside line around Erhan Yujovski. They go up through Raidillon and down the Camel Straight now. Siggy's got a brilliant bit of an advantage. Josh Perwin's already trying to fend off from the man behind him. Igor Marcelo Rodriguez trying to come down the Camel Straight to make that move into 4th position. Yujovski is sizing up Gillison, has to bail out.
Erhan now on the brakes very, very early indeed, but I'll tell you what, the big factor here is Kevin's got a huge lead onto the Camel Straight, wasn't able to be caught with the slipstream, and he's got himself through again Les Combes, and he's leading the way here. Lovely old job.
Well, he got the perfect textbook start, didn't he? He absolutely nailed it on the throttle. Perfect line through that first hairpin, and he's already off like a rocket. Meanwhile, on board with Josh, already getting a little bit crossed up as Igor is charging in behind him, trying to get that mistake to come off, and it's not quite happening. Josh is actually keeping himself very much in the game. This is a problem for Igor. This is his specialty, and he's already struggling down in 5th. This is going to be a massive confidence hamper.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's coming to Forza thinking, I need to get some big points on the board within the first couple of events. You know, my strength is Forza. It's not quite working out here, but who it is working out for is Kevin. Kevin leading the way right now, looking almost dominant at this point already here, with about a second lead. Isaac then is in 2nd spot, then Erhan is in top 3. They did qualify, not necessarily in this order, but they were the top 3. They're the 3 we're going to be looking at really here, you know, early in this race.
Well, this is really good to see from Isaac in particular, because as the Logitech G Challenge final winner, he has got himself right into the mix. A lot of people would have said coming into this that this is all about Yujovski and Siggy Rebenak, but he's now in the game. He's got himself an opportunity. Jan Sadhoff just keeping himself in the action, trying to get back on terms. He's obviously going to struggle here in Forza with Real Racing 3 being his specialty, but this is a difficult one. Igor Rodriguez trying to get himself onto the tail of these 4. Josh Perwin, though, the youngest man in the competition, he is having a sniff at the back of the 3 men in front.
Yeah, youngest man travelled the furthest here, but he is absolutely smashing it there, right up the rear then of Erhan as we come down in towards the source for the second time. Big mistake there by, it looks like Isaac. Isaac run a little bit wide, and actually you can see now right in behind Erhan is Josh. And can Josh get this move up towards Raidillon and Eau Rouge? Not well, especially getting good exit onto the Camel Straight here.
This is really impressive from Josh Perwin. He's the one who came into this with not a lot of confidence in his arsenal. He really thought this was going to be a struggle, and he's already sniffing at the heels of the 3 guys with a lot more experience behind them. This is a really good run from the Aussie, but Yujovski running in 2nd place. Look at the gap he's got to try and make up to Siggy. He's already disappeared.
Oh, Kevin is in a world of his own right now, looking very dominant indeed as we come up towards turn number 5 here. And it's been an incredible start here for Kevin. But Erhan, again, it's a big competition here. There's lots of rounds to go. So you've got to be looking to try and gain points across the rounds to just get the best position possible.
Well, Isaac's down to 4th now. Josh has managed to get through, and so has Erhan. So Erhan into 2nd, Josh into 3rd, Isaac down into 4th place. And this is a real problem for Isaac. He's trying to charge his way back into position, and this is not going to be very easy for him because he's got the pressure of having been the man to jump the gun earlier on into 2nd position. It was a great start, but now the Dutchman's really going to struggle in behind Josh, who seems to have a whirlwind of confidence underneath him, now into third.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Isaac probably would have taken second on this game to start off with, but now he's got to be battling for the rest of the race here. 5.5 laps to go, and he's got it all to do here.
Well, very late braking, almost tagged the back bumper of Josh Purwin there, so he's definitely under pressure. But Josh is playing all the aces here up his sleeve. He is hoping for a top 3. I was talking to him last night. He really wants this to be his moment, and he can sense a top 3 is possible, but he's just got to keep his cool.
I think Eagle's involved here as well, so we've got a nice little battle here for the top 3. Looks like Erhan has got himself a nice gap then to third position Josh, but Eagle is now looking to get involved. Down and towards the bus stop then for the second time.
Oh!
Wow, big mistake there by Eagle. Just gets caught up by Isaac there. Looks like Isaac may have gone through that left hand a little bit slow and has caught Eagle out there, although actually Isaac's right in behind Josh here, so I think that's all on Eagle there. He's got the wrong line, he's taken a late apex there and he's run off wide.
He got a little bit heated there under pressure and thought he could gain a massive amount of momentum, but he just needed to roll off the power a little bit earlier, and that's why he tagged the back bumper. Totally unintentional. He needed to gain that time. He needed to get back into the slipstream ready for the Kemmel straight, but he's actually hampered himself in the process. Meanwhile, Jajovski is in real danger of this being a bit of a boring slugfest from his point of view. He's there in second place, but he's got Josh, Isaac and Igor all trying to reel him in.
But then with the first event, he's got solid points. Second position in the second race, solid points. It's not all, it's not all she wrote here in the competition for him, that's for sure. And also with the guys battling behind him, it makes it a lot easier for him just to go, do you know what? I'll take second spot here. It's big points, moving into the third round, get to the halfway point, and then you can really set your stall.
Well, this is an important race for Kevin to continue to lead and dominate, because after being second at Donsvold yesterday, that means he'll take 11 points from this phase. If Kevin continues out there in front, no problem for him. It's all on Erhan to stay in that second place spot, because he's got Josh, Isaac and Igor snapping at his heels. If he stays there, then he and Kevin are going to be a dead heat on points heading into the Real Racing 3 Challenge. So from his point of view, second place isn't bad, but he's got a massive amount of pressure from Josh, Isaac and Igor to hold them off.
Absolutely, but then they've got the work to do. They're the ones in behind him right now, so he's in key position here. So they've got to try and close the gap here, and actually you can see he's gapped them quite nicely here. Isaac then in P4, in behind Josh. Nice little view there. Oh, lost the rear ever so slightly there. Not ideal. Again, these cars are very, very tough to handle. A nice challenge for the drivers here in the McLaren Shadow 2019 finals. And right now, Erhan is still in P2. Josh then holding on to P3, and actually it looks like he is gaining a little bit of time here on Erhan.
All of the drivers are really struggling in this phase of the race, because obviously these are very, very powerful cars. 789 brake horsepower, 4-litre twin turbocharged V8s. They are big beasts and they are really struggling. This is not a circuit that is kind to the tame of heart. They have got to keep pushing for every single apex. Look at Isaac squirreling through as he comes up out of Blanchimont, trying to get the car stopped through the chicane.
That's a big off.
A massive slide. That is absolutely big stuff there.
That was Igor as well. That was Igor in behind Isaac. We're on board with Isaac here. I wonder if Eagle's lost a load of time here. He's now 1.1 second behind. So yes, he has. Run straight off the track there, and you can see the smoke as well. Not ideal.
Well, Josh Purwin is actually doing a fine job here in third position. This is all about composure and keeping his nerves on edge here. He's got to stay in the slipstream of Erhan wherever he possibly can. He knows, I think, that at this point Erhan is a little bit more solid, a little bit more smooth, but he needs to stay on point. He needs to keep the rhythm and keep the momentum. If he can stay close to the Macedonian in front, he's got a good chance. If Jajovski makes a mistake, then Josh is right in there for the kill. Isaac and Igor are actually the two that are struggling to hold station behind these two at the moment. Isaac obviously feeling the heat because he was in second place. He's made that couple of mistakes and now he's dropping back. Igor under pressure because this is his title. It's all about Erhan and Josh in second and third right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You say about being consistent, keeping it controlled. That's hard enough to do when it's one of your specialties in terms of the game you're playing. But with the Shadow project here, we are on multiple different titles. It's testing them across 4 or 5 different games. So it's tough for them at the best of times. But today, especially the drivers in behind here, they're all going to be struggling to find that consistency. But yeah, the big surprise here is Igor not quite up there, with the top 3. I was expecting them to go out there here and win this race, get those big points. But I tell you what, look at this. Isaac then is all over the back here of Josh. Can he potentially get this move done? Round the outside then. And he's going to pin him onto the apex here. Through the S's, not quite going to work out. And Josh is fighting back here. But I think Isaac may have him here. Is he going to get across then? The bonnet of the Australian is going to work out here. Then Isaac will go through the double right-hander now. And he will hold on to that position. Great bit of work there by Isaac.
That's beautifully done. He played the long game because he had to keep that car stable on the outside line because he knew that Josh was going to have
Eagles
the
got him.
line.
Eagles now ahead. He's in P4, so he went around the outside of Josh there. Looked like there's a bit of contact, but he's held onto it nicely. So those two went side by side through the double right-hander up towards the bus stop then. And well, it's gone from bad to worse then for Josh. He took advantage of Isaac and Eagle making mistakes earlier on, and now they've taken advantage of him.
What were we saying about composure? You've got to keep that mental strength very high pitch. But now this is a big moment for Igor. Having got through into that 4th position, he's still within spitting distance of a podium finish behind Isaac. That's got to be the catalyst now. He's got to use that energy, that momentum, that big boost to get himself up into a position. He's now got to tame that aggression and go after Isaac. This is not going to be easy for Igor, but knowing the game, knowing the title, he's got a great opportunity to snatch a podium now.
He's got to lean on his experience here. Forza's pretty well known for not having the strongest slipstream as well, and across a circuit like Spa, you really do need that help, and so he's got to get it done via his racecraft, via his consistency, like we keep bringing up. But again, he looks a little bit too far behind here, but I'll tell you what, Josh is going to be the one that is going to be raging with himself here. It was just one little opportunity, and actually he covered the inside nicely to Isaac, but Isaac was like, nah, not today. And if you've been watching the G Challenges over the last few weeks, he has been producing some of the best overtakes I've ever seen.
How about this, though, for a smooth operator? Kevin Siggy's just taking chunks out of his previous best times. He's made another 1/4 of a second in the split on this lap, so he is absolutely storming away. There's no issue for him at the moment. He's in his rhythm. He's on his A game, so all he has to do is just keep nailing each of these apexes one after the other. It's nit one, pearl one, and he's in the rhythm. He's in the smooth line. Meanwhile, Erhan Jajovski is also in a very similar position. He's kind of in no man's land here. In second place, he's not really gaining on Kevin, but he's not losing time to Isaac either. So it's actually really tricky for Isaac to sense any opportunity to move forward. But as you can see from his splits, he is gaining time. He is trying to find it. There is still an opportunity to grab that second place, but only if he can... Oh, hang on a minute. Where's Eagle gone? Eagle's down into 5th position.
Oh, Josh has made it up to P4 then. So Isaac P3 and then Josh is up to P4. Where's Eagle then? Eagle's nowhere to be found. Actually, no, he is pretty close then in behind.
He must have made a mistake. He must have made a mistake, and that's enough for Josh to get through into 4th position. Those two are going to be trading positions all the way through this competition. They're very evenly matched, Josh and Igor, and I have a feeling that their little rivalry is going to continue all the way through this competition. Isaac now needs to drop them. He needs to get rid of them from his rearview mirror. He needs to now start focusing on Erhan up ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we can only hope that they're going to be this close all the way through within the 4 games that they are going to be racing on. We can see here Josh then is, I think, closing up here to Isaac. So Isaac's got to be a bit wary here. They are on lap number 5, soon to be lap number 6. There's still 2 laps remaining here. And actually, it looks like Isaac is closing in on Erhan. So Erhan, he was in a very good position here. Second spot, quite a big distance to P1, quite a big distance to P3. You take your foot off the gas a little bit, that's where mistakes can creep in. These drivers need to be at 100% consistently, constantly as well. Otherwise, again, you can make those mistakes, lose a lot of time. And I think Isaac may be in a prime position to potentially go out there and take P2.
Well, what we're seeing from the top 5 drivers now is that, okay, the order as it's present is kind of what we predicted, but in terms of the potential of this top 5, it is ridiculously close. If you put them on the same bit of tarmac in the same machine, they're only going to be a few hundredths of a second apart in one sector. Here's Jan Sartov still working very hard. Jan is doing his best to try and keep himself in the flow. He knows that he's got the toughest mission here, being a mobile gamer to come straight into a console title or a PC title. He's got the hardest job of everybody.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's come into this with his eyes wide open, an open composure. He is giving it absolutely everything he's got. And this German firecracker is absolutely on 10/10. He's making massive gains every time he gets into the sim.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the buttons configured, so he's got the braking and the accelerating on the wheel itself as well. So it's a very, very tough task, but like you said, he is giving it his all, and yeah, we're all very proud of him here, and I'm sure we're going to see, like you said, his performances improve over the day, so it's going to be good to see.
This is a fascinating little dynamic we've got now. Josh versus Igor. It's almost personal between these two. They're trading sector times every time they turn the wheel, and Igor has made a couple of mistakes, so has Josh, but each of them are trying to prove, you know, they can gain it back. They can get themselves back into that podium position. They're edging each other. They're forcing each other to each part of the apex, and they are almost drumming into the back of each other at this point. They are edging towards the edge of their limits. So Josh and Igor are both trying to fight forward. Another 1/4 of a second taken out from Igor. He's frustrated. He knew a podium was there and possible. So did Josh. So now both of them are trying to find that time they've lost.
Yeah, which is only going to help out for people like Isaac. So if they do get close together, they're going to start battling, then they're going to start losing time here. So the podium's looking pretty much nailed on at this point, unless Josh can really find some speed here. I'll tell you what, Eagle's got a great exit out of the bus stop chicane there as we come up towards turn number 1 here for the final lap then of our first race, second event in this championship. And Josh is, oh, actually Josh has made a bit of a mistake. No, he's not. He's holding Eagle behind him. So it'd be nice to look at Eagle's perspective here and see how close he is up towards Radion and indeed Eau Rouge.
Half a second between the Australian and the Brazilian, and now they come through up to the top of Radion. So easy to lose the car.
Eagle's going to get it done. Eagle's going to go round the outside here. So he's actually going to force the issue. Actually, he's got it done before they get up in towards the chicane at the top of the hill here along the Kemmel Straight. And Eagle, what an exit that was.
Yeah, Josh lost momentum on the inside curb at Radion. Once you start losing the back end of the car there, it's impossible to control it without losing that momentum, without losing that speed. And Eagle pounced. Beautifully done. Absolutely textbook.
And now we're looking at the complete opposite here. So we've got people right on the ragged edge, and then you've got Ziggy here, who we don't need ice for our drinks this week. We just put it on his forehead and it'll just cool it down for us. He is chilled as a cucumber.
Absolutely. I mean, this guy's got absolutely nothing doing at the moment up in front. He's just in his zone. Ejan Jajovski has basically just let him have it. He knows that having had the momentum from the win yesterday at Dunsfold, they're going to be level on points heading to the next competition. And then, well, it's the mobile competition. All bets are off at that point. They all know how tough that's going to be. That's going to make or break this whole competition. It's going to be really exciting to observe. Jan Satov, that's going to be his opportunity to get back into the competition.
Absolutely, that is going to be his strength. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs there. But we are in the final sector then of our first race in the championship, and Kevin Ziggy Rebenak has absolutely dominated here from start to finish, and again he is cool as they come right now. He's coming up towards the bus stop chicane for the final time, and it's looking very, very likely here that he is going to pick up the 6 points then, but unofficially we will give you the result as he crosses the line through the bus stop chicane then, and it's only going to be a mistake from himself that's going to cost him here. But race number 1, event 2 then of the McLaren Shadow 2019 will go to Kevin Ziggy Rebenak. In second position then will be Erhan, and in third will be Isaac.
Fantastic performance from Kevin. He's just absolutely nailed it. It was really, really sweet all the way through the race. He just looked absolutely perfect.
Wow, what a race that was. Unbelievable stuff.
If you enjoyed this race, check out the full finals coverage on the channel. There's a link in the description below.